Hi, solo people, and welcome to episode 57 of the Debrief. This is the Austrian Grand Prix weekend review. So, before I start getting into this weekend, just want to say a few words. I'm getting bored of this commentary now. Bored, really bored. What I'm saying is when Croft is there, it makes it more entertaining. Let's face it, Crofty, Martin Brundle, they are the faces of Formula One regarding the commentary. Nobody travels miles and miles and miles to see an event. Nobody watches Sky Sports to listen to Carew and this new guy, Harry. Right? Guy's about 7 foot tall. Okay? No offense at all, people, because I'm not sure I'm a good height. But what I'm saying is the guy's 7 foot tall and his name is Harry. So all weekend, this guy is a Max Verstappen fan. Clearly. When he first came into Formula One, he's about Max, and Max. Just like Paul di Resta. Paul di Resta was the same. He used to be a commentator on Sky F1 until they sacked him. This guy is just similar to that, but he comes in and he's partnered with Carew, which I'm not really a big fan of. I'm not really a big fan of Carew at all. Carew is another one. He could have never acknowledged anything that Lewis Hamilton does. You know what? It's not even just about Lewis Hamilton. If you're a commentator, you're supposed to be neutral. You're supposed to be neutral, and if you're not neutral, you shouldn't be doing the job. Stick to interviewing people outside like the others do. Interviewing people when they come into watch Formula One. Greet them. Do that. Or work at the hot dog stands, making hot dogs, cooking up burgers for the fans. Do that. Nothing wrong with that, by the way, but do that. Don't come on commentary, making it that you know about commentating, and you're coming on here and everything that you're saying is false. Most of the stuff that he's saying is false. Perfect example, Harry. What happened is, Thingy crashed into Max Verstappen. Antonelli crashed into Max Verstappen, and what did he say? Russell crashed into him. Carew had to correct him. And I'm not even the biggest fan of Carew. Not the biggest fan at all. All he does every minute is do this. Listen to Carew. Watch him. When he was just commentating, all he ever does is every second to do this. That's all he ever does. Harry shouldn't do commentating. And the thing about what I'm really, really afraid of, is what's going to happen is if Crofty decides to step down, God forbid it doesn't happen, because Crofty, he makes Formula One. God forbid he steps down. I've just got this little feeling that Harry is going to be the one to take over from Formula One. Today, I had to mute the TV while I was listening to Formula One. I had to mute it. Couldn't listen to this guy much longer. He sounds like a generic esports commentator. Back in the day when you used to watch esports, let's face it, nobody cares about watching esports. We only watched esports back in the day because we was all on lockdown and there was nothing else to watch. Let's face it. No one who's got a life is going to sit down and watch people play video games, esports games. It's not going to happen. No one. It's not going to happen. They got the biggest view because man's right on lockdown. We couldn't watch Formula One TV, so we had to watch the digital version. Don't get me wrong, I play sim racing. I play Formula One all the time. Check me out on Twitch, solo_P1, standard. Actually, it's twitch.tv, solo_P1, so you can check me out on Twitch. No problem. But the point I'm trying to make is, this guy sounds generic and he sounds just like an esports commentator. I don't want that. I don't want to listen to that when I'm watching Formula One. Formula One, I hold close to my heart. When I first started this channel, it was all about Formula One. For 3 years, I was streaming Formula One. Over 3 years before football even came onto it, it was all about Formula One. I love Formula One. And one of the greatest moments of watching Formula One is listening to Crafty. Listening to Crafty, when he goes, lights out, and away we go. You can't beat that. That is just Formula One. But now we've got to listen to this Harry. And I think the reason why Crafty wasn't there this weekend, because I think they had the Formula One premiere. Martin Brundle, that was in the film. So was Crafty. They were the voices of Formula One. Didn't hear Harry, though, did you? Didn't hear Harry on the film. Nobody wants to hear Harry. Typical generic esports commentator. Guy's born with a silver spoon. Never had to work in his life. He's one of them dudes. You could just see. But it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. But I think they ruined the weekend for me. Sooner in Carew, I just don't like Carew anyway. As a commentator, I just don't think he's that good. He's good when he's on the SkyPad. When he's doing the SkyPad and he's analysing the game, analysing the races, that suits him more. But as a commentator, no chance. Because all you hear out of Carew is that's all you hear. So I'm going to bring in Mike Hulk. He's my partner in crime. TOTO! Amma. Big up, TOTO.
Big up, man.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's going well, man. It's going well. Enjoyed the weekend. Enjoyed my day. Overall, enjoyed my weekend. Really, it's been pretty chilled. Regarding, especially the transfers and all that. Of course, overall, felt well and enjoyed the weekend.
So, TOTO, what you saying? What was your thoughts overall of the weekend?
I think the obvious ones, of course, Mercedes. Mercedes was never ever going to do good here. They never really do good here. They've always had that problem with the calling issue and slow speed, especially this season. Slow speed turns. They're usually more stronger in the fast speed turns, but Austria, they have some slow speed turns. But overall, it was a high temperature track. You know how Mercedes are like. The calling issue of the car, they still haven't sorted it out. They never do good when it comes to hot tracks. So Mercedes, for sure, weren't going to do good here. Maybe in qualifying, because that's more of like a short term. But as soon as it gets in that race, and it's a lot of laps, and that calling issue won't resolve itself. So Mercedes didn't really have a good weekend, a strong weekend overall. Ferrari coming with a new floor upgrade, looking good. And of course, the likes of Mercedes having that calling issue as well will allow Ferrari to salvage some more points. But yeah, Ferrari did well.
The overall weekend, what do you think of it?
Yeah, overall weekend, I thought it was all right. There's a lot of action, including the qualifying. There's a lot of qualifying was all right. The likes of Lando looked really, really good all weekend throughout the whole practice sessions. The McLaren looked strong, especially including the straight line speed, which of course Mercedes didn't really have good straight line speed, and McLaren is an absolute superior in straight line. They did a comparison between Leclerc and Lando, and Lando all his time gained was in the straights. Yeah, he got the exit. Sometimes he got the exit, but it's due to that straight line speed of McLaren, and that's McLaren. That speed allows Lando to gain so much time straights, and we saw it. McLaren is a really, really fast car. It's unreal how that car's so quick. course, all weekend it was between Lando, Piastri, Lando, swapping each other. And it was good for the McLaren team. But overall weekend, I thought it was all right.
Cool. Yeah, it was cool. So, I had a different opinion on it. I thought, look, I agree with you regarding the Mercedes. We all knew Mercedes wasn't going to get anywhere this weekend. They never do good this at Austria, nor does Ferrari. We look at the history of Ferrari. Ferrari don't really do good here. They usually have bad luck here. But yeah, we all knew. I know we're going to get into it in a minute, the qualifying, but we all knew by the beginning of the practice session that where the cars were. Commentators couldn't shut the F up about Max Verstappen, saying Max Verstappen, anyone can win it. Max Verstappen can win it.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. He hasn't got the car. Not going to win the championship. Hasn't got the car. And that's it. I remember 2 weeks ago at Canada, I think it was Canada, Max Verstappen says when he was talking to the commentator and he was rude like he always is, he said that we are not going to win the Drivers' Championship. He said our car's not fast enough. And very simple, you may not like Max Verstappen, I'm not really a big fan, but sometimes he's honest and he come out and said it straight. Not big, we're not good enough. We're not good enough. And that's it. We're just not good enough.
Yeah.
And I don't know why Carew and Harry keeps bigging up Red Bull like they can do something. The driver's title is between the two McLarens. That's it.
The constructors' title is not even that.
The constructors over.
Yeah, because the likes of Tsunoda's not even getting points for Red Bull. So
yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, you're right. Karen, you're right.
Tsunoda ain't getting points for Red Bull. These past races, he's been disappointing. Look, we all know he's in a slower car to Max, but even though Perez in the slower car to Max, he was still getting at least in the top 10.
Yeah.
Tsunoda, done better this race. But come on, he still didn't finish in the points in the day. If you're not in the top 10, you finish with absolutely nothing. Doesn't matter if you can finish 12th, 13th, you finish with nothing. It's basically equal to 20th place. So Tsunoda is not doing good enough for Red Bull, which is dropping them further and further down in the constructors. Max Verstappen just a one-man team at the moment. He's got no teammate to help him regarding strategy. They can't even do team orders.
No.
To help Max in a race somehow. They can't even do team orders because Tsunoda, he's not doing good enough in the qualifying. But yeah, that's the Red Bull situation. And all weekend, Red Bull weren't doing well. Verstappen
and the thing about it, regarding Tsunoda, what's going to happen with Tsunoda is if he would have stayed at his other team, the B team of Red Bull, he would have had a job next season.
Yeah.
But because he went to Red Bull, he won't have a job. I'll be very surprised. I don't care who's backing him. I'll be very surprised if Yuki Tsunoda will be. I'll be very surprised if Yuki Tsunoda will be at Red Bull next season.
Mm.
I'll be very shocked because it's the poison chalice, isn't it? It's the poison chalice. The Red Bull car is the poison chalice. As soon as you go there, your driving diminishes. They will not build a car for you. They will build a car for Max Verstappen. And this is what's hurting Red Bull now. This is what's hurting them. This is why they're not going to win the constructors. Because if they would have built a car around Yuki Tsunoda's style, let's go back further. We can go back to Gasly. We can go back to Albon. We can go back to Checo. If they would have built a car for those, it might have been a different story. But they won't. They will build a car just for Max Verstappen. And this is why this team will never, ever learn. It was different when Max had the fastest car. Now he hasn't. Now they're in trouble. Now they're realizing now that maybe we should have built a car for somebody. Look at Lawson. I think Lawson got out of that team the best. It's better that he got out early.
Done better.
Because it saved his career. Because if he would have stayed in that team another couple of weeks, he would have had mental health and he would have never recovered. He would have been, and I'm serious, I'm not doing it as a joke, serious talk. He would have had mental health. He would have questioned his driving ability and he would have been out, done, finished.
Look, Sergio Perez, man. He had a chance of winning that title.
Yeah.
He was winning and winning. He won the opium race. He won on the street tracks and he was up there with Max.
Yeah.
In the drivers. And what did they go and do to turn Perez's car down? And they made Perez play second fiddle. They made him play team orders. Because it's in his contract, so they can do whatever they want.
And they're
So
talking about that. Yeah, well, okay.
drivers going into that team just ruined their career.
It's a poison chalice. That's the old saying. Basically, it's all. If you go there, you're going to be damaged. It's already damaged. You get me? It's poison. So as soon as you get there, the poison goes into your veins, and you end up being crap. It's called it's a poison chalice. That car.
Yeah, it's the way it is a Red Bull, man. It's just.
But what they need to do when Max finally leaves Red Bull, which he probably will in the next couple of years,
go to Mercedes, man.
He'll go to Mercedes or go to Aston Martin. It'll be one of those two teams because Aston Martin are not out the race yet. Because I know Alonso will be packing it in soon. And what a career he's had. A lot of people criticize Alonso. He just went to the wrong teams at the wrong. He went to the good teams at the wrong time. But it is what it is, isn't it? So let's briefly go over practice one. I'm not really going to go into detail.
Alonso's had a lot this season, to be fair.
Yeah, he's tried it. He's still look. He had a good drive today. He kept his bridging behind him, and it is what it is, isn't it? So basically, I'm going to go over practice one briefly. Russell sets the fastest pace that you know from Verstappen, and then Dunn. We all know Dunn is a McLaren a rookie driver, and he was in practice one, and he actually came the fourth fastest. So he set the fourth fastest time in McLaren, and he's like a youth driver in practice one. So that was very impressive by him. I saw his family and everything. That was cool. Anyway, guys, before we go on to it, remember the people listening on the podcast, iTunes, Spotify. Remember, I forgot about you guys. Remember, like it and recommend. You leave the feedback, especially on iTunes. If you leave the feedback on iTunes, it helps us out as well to help our audio to grow. Thank you very much for the guys on iTunes and Spotify and all them mans. So, Dunn, impressive, and by Dunn, first time in the car, comes into Austria, gets the fourth fastest. Big up to him. George Russell set the pace for Mercedes, like I said, during practice one at the Australian Grand Prix. Practice two, Norris leads, was the fastest. Piastri was behind him. Verstappen was third during the second practice. Lando Norris headed 1 and 2 at the end of the second practice, like I said, him and Piastri. And you could see them by then that you could see that was going to win the race. Let's face it, it was one of those two. The commentators can say what they want, like I said about Max Verstappen. He ain't got the car under him. Max Verstappen ain't got the car. If Max had the car under him, if Max had the car under him, it will be different. But he ain't got the car under him. That's it. The car is not fast enough, and that's it. And the years of Red Bull dominating is over, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy about that. And I'm honest, I'm happy. It was getting boring in winning every year. We know what happened in 2021. For me, he didn't win that title. Lewis did. It is what it is. I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, that was practice one. Practice three, again, Norris tops the timesheet, Piastri second, Verstappen third. So we can start seeing the pattern now, innit? Two McLarens and Max Verstappen. So we knew what was going to happen there. And what did you think of practice 1, 2, and 3? So obviously, Mercedes set the fastest in the first one. That was Russell. But when it come down to the business and practice 2 and practice 3, you could see the pattern. It was the two McLarens.
Practice one is for the rookies to test out. Because this new rule now is that you have to have a rookie in one of the practice sessions. You have to. It's by FIA regulations.
But I don't think Red Bull has, though. I don't think Red Bull's got one. That's the only team, I think.
Oh, probably.
I think Red Bull haven't got one.
But look, in practice one, all it's about is team testing the parts, testing the aero. Because when you see practice one, they come out with these big metal things for the aero and testing the speed. How the straight line speed is, because that's all connected to the car and it goes all in the data. The practice one is really just data gathering. Let the rookies go out for an hour, go through sessions, get them track time, get them seat time, because you never know them rookies. If the main driver or the second driver's out, the rookie could step in. So, they'll always give the rookies the seat time. But practice 2, practice 3, quali sims, Lando Norris Piastri. Practice 3, Lando Norris Piastri. So it was Lando getting the better of Piastri.
All weekend.
So Lando, likes his track, I presume.
I presume.
And the straight line speed of the McLaren is it's on a different level. It's on a different level. Most of the time is gained just by power on the straight, and it's scary, man, for the other teams, because the best thing they can do to challenge McLaren is in the corners. That's the best thing they could do. But if it's a power circuit like Austria, and it's a power circuit, well, Silverstone's a bit more balanced, so
Yeah.
you can have a better chance of Silverstone. But if it's a track like Spa, Monza, McLaren's have got the better of you, man.
Yeah. So look, like I said, you can see the pattern. The pattern was emerging that the McLarens were the team to beat. Max Verstappen was at an outside chance, but I don't think he had anything to really. There was no grip in that car. He was struggling with the rear grip as well, and that's really been the story of his campaign really for this season. So qualifying, Norris storms into an impressive pole position, as we know by now. Max he got pole ahead of Leclerc and Piastri. So Norris getting qualifying, getting the top P1, big up to him. And I wasn't really shocked. I thought Piastri would have tested him a bit, but for me, I think what cost Piastri was Pierre Gasly. The final moments, Pierre Gasly got that yellow card. He spun. He done a spinneroonie like Booker T, and brought out the yellow flag. And we all know when the yellow flag comes, what happens. You got to slow down, and that kind of hampered his lap. Piastri. Piastri was looking good in sector 2, and we never know what would that. Some people said, Norris would have got the pole around. Not guaranteed, not 100%, because Piastri was pushing him. But when that when the yellow flag come out because of Gasly, that cost him. So, what do you think of that?
Oh, about the Gasly incident, yeah, it costed Piastri as well.
Yeah.
He couldn't really finish his lap. It cost Max.
Yeah.
Just at the end, they had about a couple of seconds to go, and the yellow flags turned out.
I don't think cost Max. Max has already gone through, I think.
No.
He was on the straight, I think.
No, because Max at the end was on a lap time. He was popping up PBs.
Yeah, but he was on used tyres. He wouldn't have done it. Because you remember, when he come out on his last stint, he had used tyres. I think his last stint, yeah. See what it is with the tyres. The two McLaren boys. This is why I knew they had an advantage, and Leclerc did. The reason why Leclerc got in that top 3 is because Leclerc and the two McLaren boys, the last Q3, they were the only drivers. The two Ferrari boys, the two McLaren boys were the only drivers with fresh soft tyres. They had 2 soft tyres, fresh soft tyres. Max Verstappen had 1 and a U set. You get what I'm saying? That's why Ferrari had that advantage. It's a shame that Lewis didn't capitalize on it as well, but Leclerc did. So this is why it happened. So go on, what you're saying?
What we got someone in the chat, Andrew Bick. Williams racing fan, bad race weekend, Albon getting points.
Yeah.
Sainz still getting to know the car. Exactly. Could finish 5th, 7th in the constructors. Podiums might be out of reach this season. Williams is getting good this year. I think Albon doing absolutely amazing in that car. He's the experienced man in that car. He knows the team better. He knows the car better. So he'll get used to it more than Sainz. Sainz has come from Ferrari all the way down to Williams. And Williams is an up-and-coming team. Trust me, if they get the regulations right, Williams could be good next season. But yeah, Sainz, give Sainz time, man. He's a wicked driver. I've always rated Sainz at Ferrari. If it weren't for Lewis going there, I would say Sainz stay at Ferrari because, why get rid of Sainz? Well, of course, Lewis went in there. But yeah, Sainz getting used to.
This is how the qualifying finished. Big up to you, bro, Andrew Bick. Thanks for joining us this evening, Sunday evening. So you can see the times there. Yeah, you had Lando Norris first, second Charles Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, 4th Lewis. That's why I said to you, them 4 top teams, them 4 top drivers, they were the only ones going into Q3 that had 2 soft tires. New ones. The others never.
Yeah, I remember that.
The others never. This is why I knew that Ferrari could put this. Is why I was hoping that maybe Lewis could probably get on that 3rd spot in it, but it didn't work out for him. But Oscar Piastri, look, if he wouldn't have got P1, he would have definitely got P2. He would have beat Charles. He was up on Charles, but when that yellow flag come out because of Gasly spinning up, this is what happened, then it. So, what's your thoughts on what was your thoughts on this by this time?
Yeah, the qualifying, you can see McLaren looked stronger qualifying. Soft tires really helped him. 2 fresh softs is really, really smart from them. Playing the strategy game. Because all the others had used, and they're going to be put at a big disadvantage. McLaren was smart this time. McLaren was smart. I knew McLaren was going to get the pole. Between the two McLaren, of course, the Ferrari looked well as well. I always thought Leclerc was going to get the third because Lewis is not really a good qualifier. He's a more better racer.
He used to be, but he's not. It's kind of a, yeah.
Lewis is starting. I know Lewis is more excel in the race.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, 1 lap pace. Yeah, you can beat the McLarens. Ferrari can beat the McLarens at 1 lap pace this weekend because Ferrari getting a new floor. They were looking stronger. And 1 lap pace is the only time you can probably beat the McLaren. Look at Russell, 5th place.
I don't think they would have. Look at the times, Toto. 104.6 to 105.1.
No, I'm on about Ferrari.
You want to QQ.
Leclerc beat McLaren 1 lap pace. Right, so that's the best chance Ferrari could probably beat.
Yeah, because the yellow flag came out.
Yeah.
That's the only way you beat him. Oh, you mean? I got what you're saying, but to say that, the flag, if the flag didn't come out, yeah, Oscar would have probably got first or second, didn't it? But that's what cost him the flag. He stalled his time because of the flag. It cost him, and it's a shame. But you got to blame Gasly in it for spinning Rooney. Have you noticed Gasly's always spinning lately?
Yeah.
He's always spinning. What do you think of Gasly? I think his time's done in Formula 1.
Well, he's been in the Alpine team for
I think he's done. He's just hanging around now.
He's not excelling, is he?
No.
He's not excelling. But look, they're going to keep him there.
Yeah.
I think they're going to keep him there until his teammate beats him or whatever. I don't know.
I think his teammate is beating him. I think it sure is. But anyway, let's go on to the race day, Toto. So, lights out. I'm not going to say lights out because Crafty wasn't there. So the race day started. Carlos stalled on the car on the grid. Soon as the race that was on the lap, what's it called, the finger lap, the warm up lap before the race. Carlos stalled on the track. He was on the track. He was on the track for 30 seconds. Right. The team was trying to start the car for 30 seconds, trying to push the car. Then all of a sudden, as Lando Norris was approaching the last corner to come onto the grid and wait for the race to start, Carlos' car started. His car started, Sainz's car. So what he did, he drove all the way around. So this benefits Carlos Sainz, by the way. This benefits Carlos Sainz because if you're Carlos Sainz and you're near the back, wherever you are, yeah, and you're trying to get a good start, when his car was stalled, didn't it? So when he was driving around the track to try for the formation lap, there was people on the grid at the front waiting. It was hot and it was waiting. So the tires, you know what happened to the tires, didn't it? So he came back round. He went into the pits because he wanted to start from the pits because he had to start from the pits. That's the rules. So he came into the pits, and just as he came through the pits, the fire at the back of his car. His rear brakes heated up, and then both his left and rear brakes, right rear brakes went on fire, and that was his race done like that. So what's your thoughts on it?
It was a shame for Sainz.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's getting used to the car, isn't he?
Yeah.
And plus it's
his fault it went on fire.
And plus it's a hot track. Like I said, yeah, it's a hot track. And it's down to the team's calling system, similar to like Mercedes. His calling system couldn't really hand out. That's why they lost so much pace. And Sainz, yeah, it's a hot track. Sainz is getting used to the car. He'll have time. But yeah, it's a shame for Sainz, man.
It's a shame, big time. But it is what it is. Look, he's out. He's like the guy said in the chat room. Yeah, the Williams fan. Bad race weekend. Albon getting points. Sainz still not he's still getting to know the car. And that's the thing. That's what it is. He's still getting to know the car as well. Remember, Albon's been there for a few years now, so he knows the car. He knows the team better than Sainz. Just like when Lewis Hamilton went to Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton went to Ferrari, and look at Lewis. He's still getting to know the car as well. So more in the chat room. Let's answer more chat before we go into the race review. Hi, I'm Tutsi. I know this sounds weird, but I think. Oh, I don't know about that. What about that, Toto? What do you think about that, Toto? The McLaren guys are underperforming comparing to their car.
They are or not? They're still putting in results.
Yeah.
You know, so that's all that McLaren got to focus on about.
RST, Mercedes power units, to be like that. Yeah. Well, next season, the rumors coming out of the paddock and coming out of the teams that next year the Ferrari and Mercedes are gonna have really, really good power units.
Yeah.
So it might go back.
That calling issue.
It might go back to Ferrari versus Mercedes again next season. I don't think Red Bull's going to be any good next season because they're using their own engine.
Red Bull engine, aren't they?
So it's in their infant stage. So I'm not sure if Red Bull might be the 5th or 6th fastest.
That means
team.
like you know the RB car, Red Bull 2. That's what I call them.
So Red Bull next year might be the 4th or 5th fastest team.
And the RB will drop back as well because they're going to have
in it. And when McLaren sees that, no, not McLaren, when Max Verstappen sees that the car's not fast enough next season, that's when he'll jump ship. He'll either go to Aston Martin or Mercedes. It's one of them two teams he's going to. He's not going to start Red Bull. He'll do one more season next year. The Red Bull car won't be that fast next season. It'll be their new engine. It's still in the infant stage. And they've got to start, they're going to, start from the beginning again.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mercedes. One more before we start the review again. McLaren not currently having a number one driver might cause problems. McLaren waiting to see who dominates. Piastri might come out on top over this. That's what I think as well. Yeah. I think it's very close. Well, welcome here, Andrew Brick. Big up to you again.
It's that papaya rules thing. I think it's going to let him race. I think as it's really close now and they're both outperforming each other and they're both really close to the title, why would they just slide on a first or second driver? I think the only time we're going to do team orders if they're on separate strategies and let the other one go, or if Piastri's on a better strategy, let Piastri go. That's probably the only way they're going to use team orders. But I think overall, why should they get a first and second driver when both of them are challenging for the championship? Yeah, it might cause crashes like it did at Canada. You know, they're both fighting each other and Lando caused the crash. But look, the racing drivers, man, they're going to challenge for the title. And we see, you know, I think constructors' title's already done. So McLaren theoretically only need a couple more race wins to seal the constructors' title. I don't see anyone catching McLaren at all. I see it could be impossible. Of course, it's still mathematically possible. When you hear that, you know it's finished. You know, drivers rather than the drivers title, they're both challenging for the drivers. So I don't really, see him using team orders anytime soon. Solely muted.
I think the two drivers, I think that Piastri's a better driver in my opinion so far. I think Piastri's got the edge because I think he's got more patience with the car. When it gets into them tight situations where you get two cars going wheel to wheel, he's very clever. It's like that one he done with Max Verstappen. I think it was at Hungary. Was it Hungary, one of them tracks? I think it was Hungary. It was this year somewhere. Miami. It might have been Miami. When he saw Max Verstappen dive at him, he just moved over to the side. He forced Max Verstappen into a mistake, and then Piastri just turned off on the right-hand side and carried on driving. That's the kind of thing what a 5-year veteran would do in driving, you get me? Not someone who's been there for a couple of years. See, when I say that's what I mean about Piastri. With Lando Norris, I think he would have waited for his opportunity. I'm not sure if he would have done something like that, because if you remember watching that in Miami, when Max Verstappen made that mistake and Oscar went off and won the race, carried on his own, he won the race that season, by the way, that year. It was this year. Then you had I think it might, where is it now? I think it was Miami. One of them tracks, bear with me, someone say in the chat, but I remember as soon as Piastri done that under Max Verstappen, then it was Lando's time to do it the same race. He was in third place. So he caught up Max Verstappen and he didn't do that. It took him like 8 laps to pass Max Verstappen. And with Oscar Piastri, he done it quick time, 1 or 2 laps. That's the difference, because I think Oscar Piastri is a smarter driver. He's more cool-headed. He's more like he's got his faculties with him. But with Lando Norris is sometimes he can pop. That overtake that he done at Canada, That was silly move. Oscar Piastri wouldn't have done that. Oscar Piastri wouldn't have done that. And that silly move that he done there, that could have cost him. Obviously today, Max didn't finish the race. And that means that basically it's between them two now. I knew that anyway, but that cost him a lot of points and he didn't need to. He could be, leading. Lando could be leading the driver's title now if it wasn't for that incident in Canada. Huh?
Because he took the wrong line, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why he went in the inside. The gap weren't there.
There's nothing there.
It's like in karting days when I tell you in briefings and say, make sure, because you got bumpers on the cars, make sure it's a full width before you go make for the move.
Yeah.
When Lando went for the inside, the gap weren't there. No car's going to fit through there. Not even a go-kart can fit through there. I'm probably going too far, but you know what I'm saying? It was too tight. The outside was free.
Well, dog ain't going to fit through there, yo.
He should have took the outside, right? He should have took the outside, and that outside eventually would turn into an inside. So we could have probably got Piastri on the run. You know, but he went for the inside, and the inside was the worst. The inside was the worst possible move because the inside turned into an outside. Yeah, then you're going to be on the wrong side of the track. Of course, you'd be on the racing line, but you'd be around the outside, the dirtiest part of the track. Yeah, and then.
Let's get on to back to the review now. Let's get back. Let's get it. We could talk about this more after. Let's get on to review. Good start from Lando. Piastri second, third Leclerc. Kimi Antonelli. For me, I don't think this is his fault. Kimi Antonelli. There was what happens when you watch. If you actually go and watch the race when it started, when everybody got to the top of the Kimi. It's what do they call it now? The thingy corner now, don't it? Niki Lauda corner. We're not there, and you know the elevation. Obviously, when the elevation comes up there, the cars slow up. But he wasn't expecting the cars to slow that much. When they got to the top of the hill, everybody suddenly slowed down. He saw a gap. He thought he saw a gap, and he went for it. But when he went for it, it was too late because if you look, his rear tires locked up, and then once your rear tires lock up on the Formula One car, that's it. It's game over. You lose control of the car. He just missed Lewis Hamilton, just missed him. And he caught Max Verstappen on the side of his car. A few inches on the left, he would have been the back of the car. Max Verstappen would have been fine. He would have carried on with the race. Kimi probably would have mashed up his wing. He would have been at the race. But where he hit at the side of his car by the diffuser part, as soon as he hit the side of his car, it was game over because Max Verstappen stopped the car. He knew straight away and said, "The game's over, idiot." Whoever hit him, because I don't think he knew he hit him. So when I saw this, I knew he was going to get a penalty down the road.
Max on its side.
So what was your thoughts? I knew, when I saw that, even though I knew that it was between the two McLarens, I knew Oscar was way ahead of Max, but obviously Max, when Lando Norris got that DNF 2 weeks ago, that brought Max Verstappen back into the competition, like 20 points between them. But when I saw Max with that DNF, the first thing I thought is, that's it now, you ain't going to win it.
McLaren has a double DNF next race. He's not going to get back into the championship.
I don't think he'll get back in anyway.
Because
the points, then it'll still be like 20 odd points with him in Orlando.
But look, it's over. You hear in the interviews that the car's not good enough for a week or weekend. On the radio, wasn't even getting angry. He was like, yeah, it's over, I'm out.
What's your thoughts on Kimi Antonelli? Rookie mistake, maybe?
Probably. He should just breaking point, didn't he? Like he said in his interview.
Yeah.
He misjudged his breaking point and locked up. His rear's locked. As soon as your rear's lock up, you're finished, mate. Like you got to do your best just to try avoid.
I know.
And, with your front tires, and when you're on two wheels, since your rears are locked up and they're basically unusable, you got your two wheels to control with, and then you're basically finished.
Yeah. So George, after that, George was trying to pass Lewis on turn 6. Carew was having a seems like he was having a party because he saw George. Oh, George is nearly passing him. Sniff. That's what he kept saying. Georgie's got a sniff on Lewis. Like George is sniffing his ass or something. I don't know. I don't know what he's saying about that, man. But you can pause. But that's what he kept saying. Oh, Georgie's got a sniff on Lewis. He's got a sniff. That's what he kept saying all the time. But did it happen? No. George didn't have the car.
If Carew included any context, Mercedes' calling issue won't be resolved.
He nearly passed him. He tries to dive down the left-hand side in turn 3.
Not enough power. Not enough power.
So basically, he just got caught out. Yeah, okay. So lap 5, George was trying to try and take Lewis. Nothing happened. George saying he was closing the door. So basically, George was complaining on the radio to his engineer saying, every time I try and pass Lewis, Lewis is closing the door. That's what you're supposed to do. But he was saying he was doing it under braking. We know the rules of Formula One. Can't close the door while under the braking, and he wasn't. So nothing happened. It was noted, but nothing happened. Lap 6, turn 5, Piastri was having a go at Lando Norris. This reminded me of the old days when you had Lewis versus Rosberg, and it was just them two in front, and I was trying to pass each other.
How superior McLaren is.
Yeah,
their quality system is so good.
Yeah, brilliant.
That long,
yeah,
on tires,
yeah,
and still do a good strategy. It's good.
That's the key of that car. They're very good at tires. Lap 11, Norris locks up into turn 1. Piastri passes him on the licking out of the corner, but Norris does the switcheroo. They both go down the turn 2, and Norris passes him, and that's it. After that, Norris stayed ahead, even though Norris was. And after that, Oscar was getting not frustrated, but he was trying to pass his teammate. Lap 21, he tried it. He had another attempt, Oscar Piastri, and then he locked up, and Norris stayed ahead, then pitted. Yeah. By then, the race was over. Nothing much really happened after that. So what was your thoughts on it, Toto?
I say McLaren weren't really the best ones in the pits today. Norris's, I don't think it affected them in any way.
No.
But I think the average pit stop time is 15 seconds in the pits, and then you got your time. So about 19-20 seconds in the pits.
Yeah.
Norris pit for hards 3.1. Piastri pit for hards 3.4. Hards are a really good tyre. Since it's a hot track and it takes them, because hards are the slowest to warm up, but since it's a hot track with high track temperature, because it was high, it allowed the hard tyres to warm up much easier, so you get the grip from them much easier and burn them away much easier. Russell, lap 30, struggling with cooling issues, so allowed him to drop back. I think he finished 7th or 8th in the end, so it was a bad weekend for Mercedes. Only one driver finishing in the points. Piastri gaining on Norris because Piastri is on the more optimal strategy. So he was gaining on Norris on the fresher hards, but he gained him within the second, and then Norris gained away again. I think Norris on the tyre management phase. I don't know why he was tyre managing in that close to the race, but look, it worked. He gained away a lot from Piastri, and it showed the intelligence of Norris.
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton, this moment just really peed me off. Lap 50 to 55, Hamilton was arguing the race engineer to extend strategy, but the race engineer weren't having it. He was just saying box, and Lewis Hamilton was saying, look, I want to extend. He was doing all this work and explaining on what the Ferrari go and do, say box. So he completely dismissed what Hamilton was saying.
Yeah.
And wanted
oh, God.
Lewis should have stayed out.
Why didn't he stay out?
Hard tyres were a good tyre.
The hard tyres were good. The thing about it, the hard tyres were good.
It was the best.
And he felt good. It's just like they just wanted
Leclerc.
At least even Ted Kravitz said it, yeah. He said, all they've done is when they pitted Lewis, all they did is guaranteed Lewis that he finished behind Leclerc. But if they would have kept Lewis out there in the hard tyres, then maybe he could have fended off Leclerc for the podium.
Russell was struggling with cooling issues. He was never ever going to catch up to Lewis.
No.
But why pit for mediums when the hard tyre for Italy was a better tyre? Because it was a hot track and the hard tyres take less time to warm up.
Yeah.
And he's already on good tyres, already on warm tyres.
He was fine. He was fine. They sabotaged him. Ferrari sabotaged him. You know what Lewis should have said? Lewis should have said? Lewis should have said, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Car feels good. Because many drivers have done that in the past. They had to say, nah, George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, not Lewis Hamilton, Rosberg, Vettel, all drive a lot, Max Verstappen, they've all did it. The weakness with Lewis Hamilton is too data driven.
This Ferrari team, look,
don't you think Lewis is too data driven, Toto?
And you know what Lewis is like?
He relies on data too much.
But I think it was Bono, yeah.
Nah, it was Bono. It was all about data as well.
It was all about Bono. It was all about listening to Bono. But I reckon if he said to Bono he wanted to extend, Bono would have said extend. I'm sorry, yeah. If the driver said he wants to extend, let the driver extend. He's driving the car, yeah. It's like with race engineers. race engineers do the job, but they need the info from the driver to actually do the job and see what's going on to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Right.
And the sabotage, Lewis. I think this engineer,
Hamilton wanted to extend.
I think he don't know what he's
Let the man
doing.
extend.
The engineer, Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton's engineer. I think he don't know what he's doing.
No brain cells.
Nah, I won't say. I ain't gonna go that far. The guy's intelligent guy is in that position.
Yeah, but I reckon in the race when your driver wants to extend, let your driver extend.
I don't know. This sounds a bit fishy to me. Why they pitted him?
The driver's giving you info, and how he feels in the car because he feels better than a race engineer. Yeah, they got the data, but you can't be driving manual man feeling the car for yourself, right? Lewis Hamilton felt the car. He felt good. He thought he could go on long because the hard tyres were the best tyre and they had more grip because it was a hotter track and it takes less time to heat up and get the temperature into the tyres, the optimal temperature, right? And Lewis Hamilton was feeling good. Let him stay out. They got the data in front of him. Tyres look good. They feel good. The driver said they feel good. Let him stay out. But why go in the pits for put on fresh mediums? Why? The hard tyres are a good tyre. They will last long in these kind of conditions.
Look, like I said, I think they said, no, you don't get it because they knew what they was doing. They knew what they was doing. They sabotaged him. Lewis said when he was coming in, why'd you bring me in? Why'd you bring me in? Don't come in then. If your tyres feel good, Russell wasn't going to catch him up because he was having cooling issues, like you just alluded to. It wasn't going to catch him up. So what Lewis should have did is said, I'm staying out. That's what you should have done. Because if he would have stayed out, I think he would have got a pole or had a chance. It made no sense. And when Ted was talking about it, it's Harry and Carew, they both just dismissed it, didn't say nothing.
Ted, that whole race had the most sense.
Yeah, Ted, he's the cleverest guy on Formula One. Ted's the cleverest. The Notebook, can't beat the Notebook. But yeah, at the end, the winner was the two. It was Lando Norris, second, Piastri, and third, Charles Leclerc got the win at the end. So I'm going to try and bring up the final results, and then after that, we're going to head off and go and play some FIFA. So there we go. We'll just go back to the race. I'm going to just bring this up. The race results, how they finished. So here we go. So bear with me, guys. People on audio, I will give you the final results. I'm just going to bring it up on the screen. There we go. Done. So this is the final results of Lando Norris first, second Piastri third, Charles Leclerc fourth, Lewis Hamilton fifth, George Russell sixth, Liam Lawson seventh, Fernando Alonso eighth, Gabriel Balotelli, good race by him by the way, ninth, Nico Hülkenberg 10th place, Esteban Ocon 11th place, Oliver Beerman 12th place, Isaac Hadjar 13th place, Pierre Gasly 14th place, Lance Stroll 15th place, Franco Colapinto 16th place, Yuki Tsunoda, and the DNS were Albon, Max, Kimi Antonelli, and Carlos Sainz. Now, let's do the constructors, the team. Where's the table results? Team standings. There we go. Actually, let's do the thingy first. Driver standings. So we'll look at the driver standings there. There you go. So Oscar Piastri, 216. Nothing really between the two top drivers. 15 points. That's it. Lando Norris second, 201. Imagine if he would have just stayed position in that Grand Prix. If he would have just held position in that Canadian Grand Prix, he would have been on top now. He would have been on top. Max Verstappen third with 155. He's basically out now. George Russell is actually closing in on Max Verstappen, by the way. Look, George Russell's closing in on Max Verstappen with 146 points. Max has got 155. Charles Leclerc, fifth place. Ferrari, 119. Lewis Hamilton. See, I always got this feeling that they want Charles Leclerc to finish higher than Lewis. I don't know why. They want to try and keep him because you remember Lewis is going to retire in a couple of years. Charles is still young. They probably want to keep Charles at the thing. So they're looking after Charles. Because that decision that they made there, pitting Lewis never made zero sense. So Lewis Hamilton is sixth place with 91 points. So, he's 20. He ain't that far behind him, really. He can manage it. Kimi Antonelli, 7th place with 63 points. Albon in 8th place with 42. 9th place, Esteban Ocon with 23. 10th place, Nico Hülkenberg with 22. 11th place, Isaac Hajar, my G, 21 points. 12th place, Lance Stroll, 14. Lance Stroll, why are you racing, bro? And how have you got the same points as Alonso? It's a mystery. Fernando Alonso in 13th place with 14 as well. 13 points, Carlos Sainz in 14th place. In 15th place, Liam Lawson's got 12. Good points for him. 16th place, Pierre Gasly has 11 points. Yuki Tsunoda in 17th, man, in 10 points, man. In a flipping Red Bull. Greedy to jump. He wanted it, and this is what you get, bro. Remember, he was calling to go to Red Bull, and this is what you get, man. Can't hear much for you.
What allowed getting his first points as well?
18th place, Beerman, Oliver Beerman, 6 points. His brother just won the his brother was at the thingy the other day. The event was on the other day in what was it called? Formula Ford.
Oh yeah.
He was at the Alton Park the other day. His brother won it, come first place, Oliver Beerman. Congratulations to him. 19th place, Gabriel Balotelli. 4 points in 19th place. 20th place, Franco Colapinto, 0. And Jack Doohan, 0. So that's it, man. We've done the thing. That's it. So Toto. We got the constructors, but that's over, isn't it?
We go through the constructors. There's no really point going for the constructors.
It's over, isn't it? Really.
No, we already know where this is going.
Only one way it's going. Yeah. The Karen's won, innit? Look at that 417. It's over, man. Red Bull's not even going to get top 3.
All the points have been from Max.
Yeah, because Tsunoda's crapping it. So that's it, man. That's constructors. So the constructors, for the people on audio listening, McLaren's got 417 points. Second place, Ferrari, 210. Third place, Mercedes, 209. Fourth place, Red Bull Racing, 162. Fifth place, Williams, 55. Sixth place, Racing Bulls, 36. Or you can call him Racing Balls. Seventh place, Haas, 29 points. Eighth place, Aston Martin, 28 points. Ninth place, Sauber. And that will be Audi next year. They're 26 points. 10th place, Alpine with 11 points. So that's the constructors. So, Toto, anything to say before we head off? Quite a long stream today, to be fair.
Nothing how much to say, really. The constructors are done. McLaren's won the constructors. Let's give the trophies to them now because, let's face it, who's going to catch them, man? The straight line speed's too powerful.
Man, they won the constructors from ages ago.
They
won that about a month ago.
The one at the start of the season.
I haven't got that far. I think about the 4th racing they've won it.
Look, the straight line speed's powerful. The corner speed, they're good in fast and slow corners. The straight line speed is the best aspect of their car. Most of the time gained on the straights.
Odd.
But,
cool, man. I was just joking with you there.
But yeah, the laps that they dropped. But yeah, McLaren's good. Congratulations to Norris.
Yep, congratulations to Norris, and it's over.
Look, if you would have finished, I know he just won through the coulda. But if Lando would have hold for second, he would have been top of the championship right now. Yeah,
that was at Canada a couple of weeks ago, but it is what it is. We're not going back. We're looking forward. And this weekend, next weekend now, well, this weekend now, because it's Monday, will be the best, the very first track. The one what Brad Pitt said, the best track on the calendar. He called it Hollowed Ground, Silverstone. My 3 best tracks are Silverstone, Spa, and Suzuka. They're my 3 favorite tracks, and we are going to one of them, and that is Silverstone, my home country of the UK. Big up to Silverstone. And we all know when Silverstone happens, what happens, Toto? They always have the best races. You know this. This. Every time they drove to Silverstone, even in the pandemic, when I had the Silverstone without fans, it was still good. When them times when Hamilton's tyre fell off and he had to do nearly a full finger with no tyre when the tyre ripped up. Yeah. This is what Silverstone does. It's the way it's designed. It's a classic track. It's the home of motorsport. It's where the first Grand Prix was. Forget Monaco being the crown jewel. The crown jewel is Silverstone because that's where the first Grand Prix ever was. F1 Silverstone in 1950. That's it. Very simple. So I'm heading off. Big ups, everybody. Remember, guys, on audio, remember to recommend their audio to your friends, iTunes, Spotify, and for the YouTubers, smack the like button as well. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be covering football, more transfer news, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. All this week. Let's get it. Let's get it done. Toto, anything to say before we go?
Thanks everyone for joining, man. And big up for everyone on the podcast listening. Of course, if you are just joining us on YouTube, feel free to replay. But yeah, that's it.
So big up, guys. See you later. Boom. And the Silverstone this weekend. Can't wait. Yeah. Big up. See you later, Austria. You're doing good. It was a decent race. Good qualifying. See you next year. Big up. See you this week in Silverstone. Boom.